In 1973, Constance Webb was pregnant and working with her partner, Sims, and a research team searching for a rare spider in the Amazon rainforest in Peru. Up to that point, no one had been able to find it. People believed the spider's venom was extremely toxic to humans and could grant incredible power, according to the legends of a secret Peruvian tribe called Las Arañas. The tribe was said to be incredibly agile and 100 times stronger than ordinary, basically like a whole colony of Spider-Man. But Constance didn't believe those stories at all. She wanted to use the spider's venom to help people suffering from severe diseases. However, her pregnancy made it difficult for her to keep working. Sims returned to camp and started reading Constance's research journals, quietly taking photos of her notes. At the same time, Constance finally found the spider and brought it back to camp, thrilled by the breakthrough. Suddenly, Sims attacked two members of the team and said he wanted the spider for himself. He tried to snatch the jar from Constance, and during the struggle, she was shot. Sims left her there to die and escaped with the jar containing the spider. Later, the leader of the Las Arañas tribe, Chief Santiago, arrived and tried to save Constance using the spider. He placed her in water inside a hidden sanctuary. He managed to save her baby, who was named Cassie. Before Constance died, she made him promise that when her daughter returned one day, he would be there to tell her everything. 30 years later, in 2003, Constance's daughter Cassie Webb was working as an EMT in New York City, providing emergency medical care outside hospitals. Her partner was Ben Parker, the uncle of Peter Parker, who would eventually become Spider-Man. Ben invited Cassie to a baby shower for his brother's wife, Mary Parker. When Cassie got home, she took out an old box and looked through her mother's photo, research journals, and other belongings. The next morning, she and Ben responded to a car accident on a bridge. The driver was trapped inside, and the vehicle was hanging halfway off the bridge. Cassie climbed in and rescued the man with Ben's help, but she became trapped herself when the car fell into the river. Underwater, Cassie saw what looked like a web of life for the first time and somehow connected to it. She witnessed her entire timeline up to the moment of her death in a flash. Thanks to Ben's efforts, she was revived. He told her she had been underwater for 3 minutes and that her heart had stopped. While examining her, he noticed her oxygen level suddenly rose from 89 to 99 on its own. Then the moment repeated in front of her. She saw Ben checking her again, and the oxygen level rising from 79 to 89. She told him he had just examined her a moment ago, and they stared at each other in shock. Confused, Cassie went home thinking it was just a hallucination. Meanwhile, Sims brought a woman from the NSA to his house. He still had the rare spider. Every night, he saw the same vision, 3 masked girls with powers taking the spider from him, and he died fighting them. Because of the spider, he could see possible futures. Determined to save himself, he planned to kill the 3 girls. He forced the woman to give him a facial recognition tracking program and its password, software that could locate anyone through cameras. To get the password, he injected her with venom. Before she died, she gave it to him. The next morning, Cassie attended Mary's baby shower. The women played a game where each person shared a special memory about her mother. When it was Cassie's turn, she couldn't remember anything. She said her mom had gone into the Amazon during her last month of pregnancy, and didn't receive medical care in time, which led to her death. Cassie said she wasn't angry about it. Later, as everyone guessed the baby's name, the moment repeated again for Cassie. She told Mary she had just asked that question a second ago, shocking everyone. Before she could process it, her sister called her aside. Suddenly, O'Neill was hit by a car right in front of her and died. In the next instant, she saw him walking toward his car like nothing had happened. Confused, she asked to drive instead, but he refused. Moments later, he got into an accident with Trilla and died exactly the way she had just seen. That's when Cassie realized it wasn't a hallucination. She was seeing events seconds before they happened. On the other side of the city, Sims activated the surveillance software with the help of a hacker and gained access to every camera in New York City. Then the hacker digitally altered the 3 girls' faces. They had been wearing masks, but he removed them using the software. When Sims saw how young they were, he realized they hadn't gained their powers yet. That meant killing them now would be much easier than trying to take them down after they became powerful. At the same time, because of the strange incidents happening around her, Cassie went to a doctor and had medical tests done. After reviewing the results, the doctor told her she was perfectly healthy and that what she was experiencing were just memory-based hallucinations. Cassie insisted it wasn't in her head and said she had just seen all those physical changes happen to her body moments before. The doctor advised her to take a few days off and rest at home, and she agreed. The next day, Ben left Cassie a voicemail saying O'Neill's funeral was that day. While she was heating up a burger in the oven, a pigeon slammed into her window and died. But in the very next instant, the pigeon's body disappeared and the cracked glass was suddenly fixed. Then the oven started beeping, and she realized she hadn't even turned it on yet. She understood that in the next moment, a pigeon would hit the window and die. So she quickly opened the window. She told herself that even if she did that, the pigeon's fate wouldn't change. But instead, the pigeon flew safely through the open window. She guided it back outside and realized she had just saved its life. That's when it hit her. If she had tried, she might have been able to save O'Neill too. She decided to go to O'Neill's funeral and tell Ben everything. Meanwhile, the hacker informed Sims that he had located the three girls together at a subway station. Sims immediately headed there. Inside the subway, the three girls appeared in front of Cassie one after another. She suddenly saw a vision of a man killing them one by one. Then she saw him approaching from the front car. To save them, Cassie forcefully pulled the girls off the train. After they got out, she saw the man's face. But the girls didn't believe her and refused to go with her. They started making noise to draw attention. Cassie reset the moment in her mind and showed them the man in the suit walking toward them. Once they saw it themselves, they believed her. They ran with her and boarded another train. The man climbed onto the roof of that train, so Cassie pushed the girls off and led them down to a ground-level station. Some police officers arrested Cassie there. Before she could explain anything, Sims attacked the officers and killed them. Cassie took advantage of the chaos, grabbed the girls, stole a taxi, and drove off. The girls told her their names were Julia, Anya, and Matty. Cassie realized none of their parents were currently in the country. Suddenly, the taxi radio reported that the police had identified the suspect who killed the officers and kidnapped the three girls, Cassie Webb. All four of them were shocked. No one had seen Sims at all. The girls were the only ones who knew the truth. Cassie took them into a nearby forest to hide. Since there were no cameras there, the hacker couldn't track them. Julia recognized Cassie from the hospital where she worked. Anya realized they lived in the same building. Maddie remembered that Cassie had saved her earlier that morning in a car accident, which explained the strange connection she felt. She kept pressing Cassie with questions. When Cassie said she could see the future, Maddie laughed. But Julia mentioned that the man had been walking on the wall like a spider. That made Cassie think about her mother's research notes, where a similar man had been described. Cassie told the girls she needed 3 hours and ordered them not to move. She went home to read her mother's journals. There, she learned more about the secret tribe and their ability to see glimpses of the future. She even tried to climb a wall herself but couldn't. She also discovered that her mother had died in that forest. Meanwhile, the girls couldn't handle the hunger and left the forest, heading to a roadside diner. Someone recognized them and called the police, but the hacker intercepted the call, traced it, and gave Sims the diner's address. Sims disguised himself as a cop and called the police station, claiming the girls weren't the suspects, and telling the officer to check the area alone. When Cassie returned and found the girls gone, she followed their footprints and tracked them to the diner, where they were dancing on a table. When they saw her, they apologized. Just as they were about to leave with her, Cassie had a vision of Sims killing the girls, and killing her too. Suddenly she was back in the forest, realizing it hadn't happened yet. She rushed to the diner, but Sims got there first. Right before he could kill them, Cassie drove her car straight into the diner and hit him. She put the girls into a taxi, but as they were leaving, Sims grabbed her hand for a few seconds, injecting venom into her bloodstream. Cassie drove off with the girls, furious at them inside the car. Meanwhile, after digging into her background, the hacker told Sims that Cassie was Constance Webb's daughter. Sims was stunned and could hardly believe it. Later, Cassie saw another possible future where the three girls were dead. Since their families weren't in the country, she suggested they turn themselves in to the police for protection. Anya then revealed that her father had been deported 6 months earlier, and if the police found out about her situation, she would be deported too. After the girls fell asleep, Cassie went back to the diner alone. In a possible future confrontation, Sims told her that once the girls gained their powers, they would kill him. That's why he needed to kill them first. Cassie then asked him where the girls were. Then she opened her eyes and realized she had still been asleep next to the girls. When morning came, Cassie told them the man's name was Sims and that he injected venom through his hands. Every time he grabbed someone, more venom spread through their body, which could cause their heart to stop. But she explained that it could be avoided, which is why they would need to perform CPR immediately. She then showed the three girls how to properly do CPR. Cassie explained that the power Sims had was the same one mentioned in her mother's research journals, and that if she wanted real answers, she had to go to the Peruvian rainforest. She shared her plan with the girls, told them where Ben would be, took her mother's journals, photos, and a map, and traveled to Peru to search for the hidden tribe. After a while, Santiago, the tribe's leader, suddenly appeared in front of her and said she had finally returned to look for answers. He took her to the place where she was born and where her mother had died. Cassie told him she didn't understand why her mom risked her life to come there. He said that to understand, she had to go back to the moment she was born, because her story started even before that. He separated Cassie's spirit from her body, and her spirit joined them, falling into the sacred waters. The web of life sent her back to the time when Constance first came to the forest searching for the spider. Cassie watched the events unfold up until her birth. Then she went even further back, to the moment when a doctor told her mother that the baby growing inside her had a disease called myasian, and that there was no cure. The baby's life was in danger. That's when Cassie finally understood. Her mother had gone into the forest during the final stage of her pregnancy to try to save her life. Cassie had once felt like her mom didn't care about her, but now she realized the truth and broke down in tears. Her spirit returned to her body, and she asked Santiago how he did that. He told her it wasn't him, it was her own power awakening. Cassie argued that she couldn't save the three girls with future visions alone. She didn't have physical strength like Sims. Santiago explained that seeing the future was only the beginning of her true power. Her real strength was in her mind. Once she overcame her fear, she could exist in multiple places at once through the web's energy. She was the only one who could truly change the future. When she accepted responsibility and chose to fight back, her full power would come. Meanwhile, even after a week, Sims still couldn't find the girls, which made him more anxious. Around the same time, Mary went into labor at Ben's house. He called an ambulance, but Mary couldn't wait. So Ben took the girls with him to the hospital, which allowed the hacker to track Maddie's face and inform Sims they were heading to a hospital. Cassie went to Ben's house and used her visions to look ahead. She saw that Ben had taken everyone to the hospital, and that Sims would attack the girls on the way. When an ambulance arrived nearby, Cassie stole it and drove toward the hospital. The hacker turned all the traffic lights green in their route, which caused Ben's car to stall. Sims climbed onto the hood. Just before he could blow up the car with a bomb, Cassie slammed into him with the ambulance. The bomb fell from his hand and exploded under another vehicle. Cassie grabbed the three girls into the ambulance and told Ben to take Mary to the hospital immediately. Sims chased them. When he jumped onto the ambulance roof, Cassie told Anya to release the drone onto the roof, electrocuting Sims and knocking him off. But once they entered an underground tunnel, the ambulance shut down. Cassie saw the next 5 minutes of the future and warned the girls never to split up. They had to stay together no matter what. To change what she saw, she called for a helicopter to land on the roof of a nearby fireworks factory, pretending it was a medical emergency. She took the girls there, set a trap for Sims, and lit multiple flares among the explosives. When Sims arrived, explosions went off around him. After getting the girls out of danger, Cassie led them to the roof and tried to get them onto the helicopter, but Sims blew it up. He grabbed Cassie and began choking her with venom. The girls attacked him to save her, but he overpowered them and trapped each one separately. He told Cassie she couldn't save all three at once. Then Santiago's words echoed in her mind: when your desire to save someone is strong enough, that's when you gain your power. The web of life responded, creating 3 versions of Cassie at once, allowing her to rescue all 3 girls simultaneously. Sims struck her, but she lured him to the exact place where she had foreseen his death. A heavy metal structure collapsed onto him, and then a large steel sheet crushed him, killing him. But the entire structure gave way, and Cassie fell into the water. A burning flare hit her face underwater, knocking her unconscious. The girls pulled her out. She wasn't breathing, but suddenly her heart started beating again. She woke up, but she had lost her sight. At the same time, Mary gave birth at the hospital and named her son Peter Parker. Later, we see Cassie in her hospital room with the 3 girls by her side. When a nurse asked who they were, Cassie said they were her family, and they were all happy about it. Cassie had lost her vision and was paralyzed from the waist down because of the accident, but she had regained her full powers. Back home, she told the girls she could now see the future clearly. Once they gained their powers, their enemies would fall, and she would never lose. Even though they were skeptical, she showed them a glimpse of the future, where she becomes Madam Web and the 3 girls have superpowers. In the comics, Madam Web is also an elderly blind woman. And that's how our movie ends. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel.